someone comes in, we'll grab them.
Mayor, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts on potential armed, not just armed voter intimidation happening just steps outside your office here in downtown St. Pete?
Yeah, I just want to be as clear as I can about it. First off, unacceptable, not going to be tolerated. Voter intimidation is not going to happen in my city. It's not going to happen in Pinellas County. We're not going to tolerate it. We're not going to put up with it.
Mayor, the sheriff asserted this morning that the mere presence of an armed individual is not intimidating. What do you think?
I can't say I agree with him on that. There's zero reason for anyone to be armed, openly armed, out in front of a polling place. I can't think of any justification for that. Certainly, we've had voting in this location for years and years. Never been an issue. No one's life has ever been threatened. No one's safety has ever been at issue, and it's our intention to make sure it stays that way and people don't feel intimidated.
There seems to be a disagreement over who hired these individuals. The Trump campaign asserted last night they did not. So does it matter to you who did?
I don't care who it was that did it. My message to whoever it was that did it is you're wasting your money because we're not going to put up with it. It's not going to happen here. We are not going to tolerate intimidation of our voters here in the city.
There's been a disconnect between what the security company is telling us versus what the sheriff even said, stating that they were hired by this company. Have you spoken to law enforcement or investigators? What are you hearing on these sides of the security company based in Destin, or if they just were supporters of the president and just claiming they worked for this, they're on the job?
Yeah, my chief has not briefed me yet on who is behind this. The thing that we've talked about thus far, because I knew they were still investigating it, was just that this is not something that we are going to tolerate. And he and I are on the same page when it comes to that. We will not tolerate voter intimidation here in St. Pete.
We spoke to a witness who was here yesterday, and he said his mom is actually a town clerk and involved in the elections in her hometown. And based on what she saw here, they're now spending more money to ramp up security for their elections. As a public official in 2020 campaign, reflect.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sad state of affairs when you think about what's happened during this election cycle. We are supposed to be one country that's united, and unfortunately, that's not what we're seeing. This is the most precious right as citizens of this country that we have. People have fought and died for this right. People have voted in the state of Florida to give this right back through Amendment 4. And so we want to make sure that we do everything that we can as a city government, and I know the county feels the same way, to make sure that that right is protected and people have that right and that they can do so safely and feel comfortable doing so. And that's our intention.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Mayor, how important is this race for the city?
The Grand Prix? So, Grand Prix is one of our signature events that we have every year. We typically draw 150 to 250,000 people into the city. It's broadcast this year. It's broadcast on NBC. Sometimes it's been on NBC Sports Network, but it's broadcast all around the world. And it's really a 3.5 hour or 4 hour commercial, I think, for the city of St. Petersburg. It really shows off the beauty of the city. The drivers love this track. It's an incredibly competitive track, a great race. It's family-friendly event, and this year, even with COVID, it's going to be a safe event. So we are thrilled to have the race happening again. Normally we're the first race of the year. This year we're the last race, and with the added factor being that we are the race that will determine the points champion. So it's really exciting for us to have the race happening this weekend here in St. Pete.
This is the first big event since the shutdown.
Yeah.
What's some of the advice you give the people who can attend that?
Yeah, so go to the Grand Prix website, grandprixstpete.com/COVID-19, I think is the website, I believe, and you will find out what the requirements are if you want to come and watch the race. As Kevin Savary said earlier today, You know, there's roughly 60, I think it was, usable acres of land that are available and open for the public, and they are limiting the number of people. It's an outdoor event. Masks will be required. There's a forms you have to fill out before you come in about the status of your health. Temperature checks. So the Grand Prix, the promoters, Green Savory Racing, are doing everything they can to make sure that they create an atmosphere that is safe for the drivers, for the driving teams, for the fans that come to watch, and for the city of St. Petersburg. And I appreciate them for doing that.
Are you disappointed that this is not as big as it should be?
Well, certainly, you know, we would love for COVID to be gone. I think everybody would. We'd love to be able to take these masks off and get back to life as we knew it before COVID-19 came onto, you know, into existence. But we're not there. And so we are doing the best we can in trying to make sure that everything that we do is done with the first and foremost safety on our minds. You know, we wouldn't be having this race if we weren't confident in the plan that has been put together by Green Savory. And so, would we like to have 250,000 people here? You betcha. But we're glad to have the race back. We're glad to be able to know that it's going to be done in a safe environment, and it'll be nice to see the city on NBC again.
Are you going to monitor the bars and restaurants?
Well, we continue to monitor the data every day. We are looking at data and trying to adjust accordingly. Obviously, we have some concerns over the trends right now, and that's why I can't repeat enough. Wear your mask. Keep socially distant. When you're indoors, you got to have your mask on. If you're going to a restaurant or bar, you need to be seated at a table. Those tables need to be 6 feet apart. And you need to be wearing your mask except when you're eating or drinking. And the city of St. Pete will enforce the county's order as it relates to that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.